Yes. So step number 1 in decision making process is called as identifying the problem. What is a problem? Problem is a discrepancy or a gap between the existing and desired state. So problem becomes a problem when you identify it. Okay, the three questions are at the stage 1, is this problem to be solved right now or later? How many people are getting affected? If only one person is getting affected by this problem, I may postpone my decision making. If some 100 people are getting affected by this issue, I will solve it immediately. Fine. So I should understand why should I solve this problem now. Fine. Moving on to the step number 2. Now, when I have understood what is the problem in my company and how fast I should solve it out, second thing is I will start collecting information. For solving the problem, the manager has to gather as much information as possible, which is related to the factors and stakeholders involved. Stakeholders means the people who are getting affected, aggrieved people. Okay, so let's suppose there is a electricity problem. Okay, we are not getting enough current in our office. So what has to be collected information? I will collect information about for how many hours this current is not available. Okay, what is it being cut every day or will it continue for some 6 to 7 months? Now, what is the purpose the government is cutting the electricity? Okay, I will collect this information. So I have to find out this information about why it is happening, how it is happening, and how many people are facing what kind of problem out of it. So when electricity is not there, my people or my employees are not able to take the printout. They are not able to do any work. They cannot use their desktops. So they are sitting idle. When they sit idle, my work gets affected. Okay. So this is the information to be collected. What is the problem? Why it has happened? Because of this problem, what are the implications? Okay, so this information I have collected in the step number 2. Now, third step is identify your decision making criteria. What all things are important for you? That is known as decision criteria. Okay, so when I am thinking from my company's perspective, what is important to me? Work has to be done. Okay, there are some target, some deadlines are there which has to be met. Otherwise my boss will get angry or my customers will get angry. So my customers are the most important thing for me, so whatever they will order I will do. So that is my important thing. For some companies cost is most important, so we have only this much budget. Within that we will come out with some solution. Okay, so usually there are three things which we take as important things: cost, risk, outcome. Okay, so if risks are less, I will immediately take a decision. If risks are more, I will not take the decision. If my cost involved in the project is okay, I have got money in my account, if even if it costs me lakhs of rupees, it is okay, no problem for me. So then I will immediately take a decision. Okay, so these are things or three criterias for taking a decision. Okay, so before you take a decision, you must find out or select what is important for your company. Fine. Then only we will move to the next step. What is the step number 4? Develop alternatives. Develop alternatives or develop solutions. Okay. First step, what I did was I found out what is the problem. So for that problem, I'm coming out with some solution that is known as alternatives. One problem can be solved in 100 ways also. Okay. But we have some limitations for that. Clear? So I will come out with plan A, plan B, plan C, plan D. I will discuss it, and might be out of these D, everyone says no, no, plan B is better, you leave all other plans. So we can have some 3-4 solutions to same problem. So this is the stage where we will come out with more and more solutions. We will brainstorm. That is, we will think and think and think. We will discuss, we'll share our ideas, and everyone will suggest you some solutions. So while you are coming out with some ideas, there are two tools which can be used: cause and effect tool or Pareto chart tool. Okay, this you need not learn in detail. You just leave it. What is cause and effect? That is, if this is the solution taken, what will be the impact of it? We will just, if you come up with 4 solutions in front of your manager, the manager will say, okay, your plan number D is okay, but what will be the result of it? So you should be able to answer that question. Okay. So when you select some decision or an alternative, you should understand why I should go for it. Let's see an example. If there are a competition is going on, okay, music competition is going on, there are some 5 singers out there. You have to select one out of the 5. Why you selected this one as the first? So you should have the effect of it. Okay, you should know why I selected this person. Okay, so stage number 1, identify what is the problem, why should we solve it. Stage number 2, collect as much information about this problem and the people getting affected by this problem. Step number 3, find out what is important. Step number 4, come out with as many solutions as possible. Now, step number 5, analyze these alternatives, or in a simple word, compare these alternatives. So I came out with 4 solutions. Now I will sit and compare them. Which one is the best? Okay. So appraising or evaluating each alternative's strengths and weaknesses is done in this step. Okay, we will be seeing what thing. We will see if it is able to resolve the issues properly or not. One must compare each alternative in regard to the positive outcome and the negative outcome. Fine, you cannot just take a decision because it looks attractive. You should think that what will happen if I take this decision. Will it be a fruitful thing? After this, will this problem disappear or will it become more aggravated? You should think that also. Okay, so use some principles and your decision making criteria while evaluating it. Is it getting confusing? Okay, fine. Now, since I have evaluated, I have compared, now the next step is deciding, okay, this one is the best. We declare. Okay, so there were 4 alternatives available in front of me. I compared all the 4. In step number 6, I come and declared this one is the decision that I want to take. This is the alternative which I have selected. So you go and declare it in front of your team, in front of your department or your management. Sir, this is my decision. Okay, you have taken a decision. That is known as selecting the alternative. Now, once you have taken the decision, people will react in different ways. Correct? So what you have to do, when you declare this decision, you have to take everybody in your confidence. What does that mean? Make the others believe that the decision that you have taken is good. Convincing others, making others follow your decision. This is done at this stage. Okay. So you go and tell them, this was the problem. This is the solution I have come up with. Now we will implement this. You are declaring it, informing others. Right? So the alternative which had the highest total weightage, that is the maximum positive aspects, has been selected. You must understand what difficulties you will come up while implementing this solution. You can select more than one alternative also. Okay, if 4 options were available, I will combine plan A and plan B and implement. So that is more safer than selecting only one solution. Now, since you have informed others, you have taken them into confidence, everyone believes this is a perfect decision. Now we have started putting into practice. Okay. So if I decided that because there is electricity cut every day, this is going to continue for 3 months in my state, my employees are not able to do the work. So I am going to buy one generator for my company. So this generator should be of this size. Okay, that was done till step number 6. In step number 7, what I'm going to do, I'm going to the shop asking for the price of this generator. Okay, now after I have bargained with the shopkeeper, I will bring that generator to the company, get it fixed. This is known as implementing your alternative. Understandable? Am I running very fast? So putting your chosen alternative into action, conveying the decision to others, getting commitment from others to take it out or implement it out. After you have taken the decision, implemented the decision, now you sit, rest for some time. Why will you rest for some time? You will sit and observe. Okay, that is known as evaluating your decision's effectiveness. The soundness of the decision has to be judged from the outcomes. So once I brought the generator, I got it fixed in my company. Now, are my employees doing the work properly? Is my work getting done on time right now? Are my customers happy with my speed? That is what I have to judge now. Okay, so what is the outcome of my decision? Is the problem over? Is there more problem coming up, or people are coming out with criticism for my decision? Okay, so that is done in the last stage. How effective was the problem resolved? If the problem was not resolved, what went wrong? Okay, which alternative should have been taken? That you will think now. Is that clear? Decision making process. Now, when we have made the decision making, we can make a mistake. Okay, it is possible that the way I thought was not correct. The alternative that I selected did not bring any implication. No good results have come out. So I will have to check what went wrong. So there are many things. Okay, so we will see what all can be the mistakes that a human can do. First one is known as heuristics. Heuristics means using the rule of the thumb. What is this? Rule of the thumb. Have you heard it? Thumb is considered as the best finger. Okay. So in an organization, there would be some boss. He would have made some policies. Okay. So what happens is he says, whenever you have to take decision, follow my principle. Follow what I have been doing since the past. Okay. That is the best method. So when you follow the rules of the past, sometimes it can go wrong. Okay, because this time situations were different. This time the cost involved was different. This time the customer involved was different. So it has gone wrong. So I should not have used that rule. Second, overconfidence. Sometimes I think everyone around me is wrong. They do not have knowledge more than me. What they are speaking is absolutely stupid. So I am overconfident about myself. So holding some unrealistic views about yourself or your performance or your brain is called as overconfidence problem. Okay. Third one, immediate gratification. Immediately means as soon as this problem comes, I will put up this decision. Immediately you will see the result is over. Okay, that means let's suppose the tube light in your room is blinking, right? So you do not want to collect information why it is blinking. How old is this tube light? Is it because of the some problem in the electricity line, or there is some short happening? You do not want to know what is the problem behind it. You immediately go touch the tube light up and down. See, I have solved the issue. So sometimes when you make a rush, okay, immediately you want to solve it. You do not have patience to sit and observe. That time also problem happens. Okay, that problem will not be resolved. After half an hour again that tube light will start blinking, right? So some people do not have patience. They will immediately go, see, I have done it, I have solved it, right? So that is again the previous thing, overconfidence. Okay, these are the three problems. You'll see other three problems. Anchoring effect is fixing on the initial information arrived and ignoring the subsequent informations. For example, what is the full form of FIR? Anybody knows FIR?
First information report.
First information
Report.
First information report. Okay, so that is concerned with what? The cases that we file in the police station, right? So in FIR, somebody will come, and when you have overconfidence, okay, what I'm saying is correct, what I know is correct, you will go and tell the police, so and so thing happened. You will give a perfect statement, and you will tell the police to immediately go and grab that person. Okay, so and so something happened in my home, these things are missing, I saw these things broken, and I have full confidence this is the culprit. Then you go and make the FIR. Okay, when you have no information, you do not know when the theft took place, who is the culprit, why he entered into your house, then you make a normal case. Okay, it is an unknown person, police, you only go and investigate. That time we will not go for FIR, right? So what happens is, why I'm connecting it with anchoring effect is, when the manager collects only the first information and takes the decision, he does not wait for some more time and collect deeper information, then it will lead into a wrong decision. So manager should wait, collect, listen, and collect more and more information about the problem. He should look at the issue from 360 degree, not only from 90 degree. Okay, so 9, 45, 90, 180, 360, that all degrees you know in your protractor. So when you are looking at an issue, do not just, okay, my friend told me this is the problem, this is the solution, so I implemented it. No, have a confidence that after 2 days also, if I take a decision, it will be correct. No need to immediately jump on it, right? Next, selective perception. That is from here. I select, organize, or interpret the things from my perception, right? So if you are a detective, you have to have a doubt on everybody on the screen. Okay, so similarly, when there is a problem happening in your company, you should not always be targeted. Okay, this might be the person who has created problem. This is the only issue which is there in my company. There is no other reason behind it. Okay, so when you have your own perception and you fix on it, whatever information you get, you say, no, no, that is not correct. What I think is the correct belief. So when that happens, the decision will go wrong. Confirmation bias. Seeking out information which reaffirms your past choices and discounts contradictory information. Now, what does that mean? There would be some managers who are hesitant to speak out their belief. They will not show that they are overconfident. Okay. Now, let's suppose some mistake happens. Something went wrong in the report. Now you know that you have a target. This is the man who prepared the report. He has done it willingly. Okay. Now what will happen is, as soon as you get some information that one of the security says that, sir, I saw Mr. X coming into the office on that holiday. So you will relate immediately. Yeah, I had already a doubt on this person. And security also told this man came on through the office on that day. So this is the culprit finalized. So when you seek out for information which affirms on your choice and discounts all the other contradictory information, okay? So just think about now the last decision making that happened in your home. Last time when a group decision making was happening in your home. It can be regarding some outing, it can be regarding some celebration, it can be regarding something to be bought in the house. Just think of it. Who all were involved in that decision making? Okay, there might be 4 to 10 members in your family. Out of those 10 members, who were the people who were speaking more? Who were speaking against that idea? And finally, after purchasing that or after taking the decision, was it a big flop? Anybody would like to share their experience? We have learned decision making, so we know how we should make a decision. So now you will be able to understand the last time some decision was made, it went wrong because of so and so reason. Can anyone share anything like that? Yes, in a family run businesses, whatever the owner or the grandparent used to think, that was the decision taken. And everyone used to say, yes, uncle, yes, papa, it is correct. Gradually, we started moving into government jobs and private jobs. So in government jobs, decisions are made as per the policies of the government. In private companies, decisions are made on the basis of what is most important for the owner. The owner will say, I need sales, or he will say, I value the ethics more. So even if I am at loss, I don't care. So depending upon the owner of the business house, also decision making was done. Now, gradually, we have become more practical, we have become rational. Okay, so what happens is the decision making. Now, there are n number of things for which decision has to be made in an organization, and it has to be done very quickly. We cannot waste time much. So, but decision making has to be done properly also. We need to get the information, we need to find out some 6, 7 solutions, find out the best one, and implement it. The decision making process has to be done, but still we are lacking of time. Everybody is running. I want to be the best in the market, I want to launch the product first, I want to get most of the territory in the market. So everybody is in a rat race, so we do not have much patience left in us. So what happens is many companies have given this decision making to the softwares. Okay, so there are softwares in which we will put all the inputs. When these problems happened, these were the solutions devised in our previous years. Okay, so in the future the employees will go enter into that software, this problem came, tell me the solution. So what all solutions has been proposed in the previous years will come in front of you, and you will select anyone which is suitable for you. Okay, now after that the next stage is, there is a software wherein I do not go and select the solution. The machine only tells me, this is the problem, this is the solution. Okay, so now I have completely got dependent on the machines and the softwares. They will only tell me, this is the problem in your company, this is the best solution. Now I do not waste my time thinking on whether this is good or bad. I immediately implement it. So gradually, we have stopped depending on our brain. We think that whatever this machine is saying, because it is based on experience, or we can say experiments. So whatever this machine or robot is calculating, it is perfect solution. So we have stopped using our brain nowadays. Okay. So what has happened is the human side has gone out. So many a times these decisions have gone wrong also. So, as you become a manager in the near future, When you become responsible for certain things under you or your control, please do not depend upon anybody. Okay, you think from your own perspective, you collect the information, then take a decision or propose an alternative. Fine. Now, one of our student has shared an experience. I arranged everything for my birthday last year, and I ended up not being there because we had a conflict. So I feel not being there for the birthday was a wrong decision. Hmm. Okay, fine. So this is a very small little example. Fine. From that, you evaluated it. Very nice. So unless and until a company looks back, okay, at the decisions taken, or very specifically at the wrong decisions taken and learns from it, it is of no use. Okay. So one must accept, yes, I did a mistake. Next time I will learn from it and I'll not repeat it again. Fine. So that is about decision making and the decision making errors. For your syllabus, you have to learn what is the meaning and what is the steps involved. Okay, fine. Now, after this decision making, next topic is known as budgeting and controlling. What is meant by controlling? When I say control your emotions, control the volume, what do you mean actually by the word control? Only 5 minutes I'll take for them. I'll not go deep into it. So we'll just have an overview. What is control meaning? To handle. Okay. Anybody else? What is meant by the word control? To stop. Okay, Swaliha. Put a stop. Limit. Okay, better. Fine. So control is somewhere where we try to bring the limitations. Okay. When we see this should not be done like this should be much better. When you take your own selfies and you start cropping it, this person should not be in my frame. This picture or this background should be there in my selfie. So what is that? You're controlling it. You're putting up some limitations, some boundaries. Okay, this is good, this is not good. That is called as controlling. Okay, you should control your emotions means this emotion is not good, this emotion is good. So what is not good, you remove. Right. So when we talk from the organization's perspective, controlling means finding out what is going wrong and correct it. Okay, whichever thing is going out of the track, we try to bring it back on the track. So removing the defects or reducing the problems in the company is known as controlling. Okay, anyone has got any definition of controlling? What is the definition for controlling? No idea. Okay, we'll see one more story for controlling. Okay.
Requirements for his business. Sam is working on the first step, establishing standards to measure performance. Sam wants to make $100,000 more this year than he did last year so he can replace older equipment in the repair shop. Raising the price of repairs can do this. This is a financial goal. It is important not to take customers for granted. A goal to increase customer satisfaction from 84% last year to 90% this year is set. Customer service satisfaction must increase by 6% this year. This is a customer service related goal. Sam sets a goal to increase the quota or a goal set for production for the amount of cars each mechanic must repair each week. This is a production goal. With all of the new goals Sam set for the repair shop over the past week, employees may not be able to keep up with the workload. To ensure the goals are met, Sam must devise a way to measure the productivity and performance of his employees. This measurement is compared with the goals he set above, or the preset standards. Once he evaluates the information, Sam can provide feedback to each employee. This will help them make improvements to their work. This is an employee performance appraisal. Sam developed the standard for what he would like to accomplish in the above step. Now, he needs to develop a way of determining whether the goals are being met. Sam creates a new pricing guide, a customer satisfaction survey, a sales quota system, and an employee evaluation system. Sam is working on the second step, measuring actual performance. Sam will present the new pricing guide to employees. He explains his plan for raising much-needed revenue to each employee so the employee understands the reason for the price increase. It is important to include employees in setting goals. If Sam's employees understand the reason for the price increase, they will be more likely to buy into the goal. Sam also introduces the customer satisfaction survey to his customers. Each customer will fill out a survey in where they will rate their experience based on many factors, like timeliness of repairs, quality of work, price, friendliness of mechanics, and ease of payment. Sam also has to develop a way to measure how many cars are being repaired by each mechanic on a weekly basis to be sure that the amount of repairs done weekly, monthly, and in a year add up to the desired goal of increasing revenue by $100,000 set forth above.
Just a second. Are you people able to understand what's going on in the video?
Yes, ma'am.
You're able to understand. Okay, fine. So for some people, I'll just repeat 1 minute, okay? This is a man who is in charge of a showroom, okay? The car showroom or the car repair showroom, fine? So in relation to controlling, we are seeing what are the different ways he can control. What is controlling? Reducing the problems, removing the defects. That is known as controlling, okay? So what he has done, first step was he set up a standard. He decided how we will work in this showroom. Second step was he was observing. Okay. First, he told everybody, this is what I expect you to do. Second step, he sat and observed whether they are doing the work or not. Okay. So there are different ways he did it. He was checking how the mechanics are working. He gave some surveys to the customers. They filled it and they told from the feedback he could take. Okay. So now he is observing. Now we'll go to the next step of controlling.
He introduces the mechanics to a repair quota system. Each mechanic must fix 10 engines, patch 5 tires, and replace 15 windshield wipers each week. That means that each mechanic must bring in about $280 in revenue each week to reach the goal. Once broken down for the mechanics, the goal is realistic and attainable. The toughest challenge for Sam will be to introduce the employee appraisal system. He uses a system that involves the employees setting goals for themselves and Sam setting goals for the employees. After chatting with each employee, Sam is able to determine the criteria for acceptable performance. He will include sales quota system from above, dependability, reliability, motivation, and absenteeism in the appraisal. He will sit down with each employee to explain the process. If employees have input in setting goals for themselves, they are much more likely to achieve the goals. As time goes by, Sam needs to monitor the process to be sure it is working. Sam is comparing performance with the standard. Sam reviews his repair receipts and income statements each month to be sure he is on target for his financial goal of increasing revenue by $100,000. Sam also reviews the customer satisfaction surveys each week. He documents the percentages in a spreadsheet. He compares each survey percentage change with that of the previous year to determine whether there are positive changes in customer satisfaction. Sam reviews the daily and weekly receipts to determine whether the mechanics are meeting their quota set above the spreadsheet. He compares this to the standard he set in the first step. Finally, Sam needs to be sure that employers are meeting their goals set in the employee appraisal. While this cannot be done as frequently, like counting receipts or crunching numbers, it can be done every 6 months to a year. When the time comes, Sam will sit down with each employee on an individual basis to discuss progress towards the goals they set together. He will compare the actual progress towards the standard set for each employee. There is no doubt that some of the actual performances will fall short of the station. For instance, if Sam determines that the price increase...
Okay, since we are running short of time, I'll wind it up. Okay, so the 4 steps in controlling is setting up a standard, then sitting and observing what the people are doing, that is performance. Third step is compare what standard you had made and what employees are performing. After you compare, you will take one action, okay, that is correct to the situation. So that are the 4 steps of controlling. Friday, I'll wind up the syllabus. Monday, we will have a revision class where I'll discuss the important questions. So Monday is most probably the last class of corporate management for this semester. Okay. So bye-bye for now. Tata. Thank you for coming now.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.